Well, hello, everybody. I hope you are having a great evening. I've been chatting in the chat, and I appreciate that everybody's coming in an hour early. My parents were supposed to fly in on Friday, but they went through security. They were waiting. They were, then it got delayed. Then they said that when they got to Phoenix, they would have to spend the night because they couldn't get into Yuma. But I guess Southwest or some of the other airlines too. I think it was supposed to be American, but Dad said that it was actually a Southwest airplane. And they had to go back home. So I don't know if my brother had to drive back in to Rapid City and pick him up or what happened. But they left today. And oh my gosh. Hi, Doug. How are ya? And they left today. And then he called me from Phoenix. And he said, we'll be there at just after 8 o'clock. And I said, okay. So I'm so excited that they're going to be here. Anne, how are you? Shawnee is here from Vancouver. And Linda is here. Angie is here. Nisa is here. Mary's here. And Angie is here. So, woohoo! So, hello, everybody. And, oh, Charmaine just came in. Hello, how are ya? Well, tonight we are going to talk about pumpkin pie. Because, oh, wait 1 second. My dad is calling. So, let's see what Dad has to say. Hi, Dad. Hello? Hello? Hey. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, just let us know and we'll come get you when you get here. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. So, okay. Well, just call when you leave and we'll pick you up. Okay. Love ya. Bye. So that was Dad. He said that they still haven't boarded the plane in Phoenix. He says they're waiting for the plane to come in. The plane is late. So I suppose they're not going to get here at just after 8 o'clock. It's going to be later. But at least they are in Arizona. So that's right, Doug. Pray, pray, pray. Because, when you're 90 years old, that is stressful. You were supposed to fly out. They cancel it. You go back. Then you get to Phoenix. The plane's not there yet. It's stressful. It's stressful for us. It's stressful for anybody. But, oh my gosh. And Charmaine says, I sent you a photo of my beautiful necklace. And I sent you a message back on the email. I loved it on you. It was fabulous. Mary, yes, I hope they get a break too, because, oh my gosh, that was so sweet of you guys to say, hi, Dad. Well, they have always, well, not always, but most of the time they have driven from South Dakota down. And my dad always says, we're retired. It doesn't matter how many days it takes us to get here, and they have all these friends and they would stop and spend the night at their houses. But my sister and I, and actually one of my brothers especially, we all said, you don't need to drive and take 3 days or whatever, how many days you decide to take. And they have vehicles at both places. They have all their stuff at both, stuff at both places. At 90 years old, you don't really have to drive. So, and my dad, you would never believe he was 90 years old. I mean, seriously, he does all kinds of stuff. He still has his gardens, not just down here. He has gardens up there. He's always piddling. He's mowing the lawn. He's doing all kinds of stuff. So it's good. And hello, Karen. How are ya? I hope you are feeling better and that cough is going away. It's not fun. Yeah. And you're totally right. Having both of my parents, when so many of my friends do not have either one of them, it is a true blessing. It's just so wonderful to have them. And that was one of the reasons when Joe retired that, I think Joe would have rather we bought a regular house instead of our little place. But I said I wanted to be right next to them, because I don't know how long I have with them. And so I just wanted to. So, just don't want to worry about him on the road. That's right. That's exactly why, we just didn't want to, and then there was all this stuff happening, craziness, and I would hate for them to get stuck someplace. And even though it's hard with the airlines right now because there's so many ones canceled, I just needed to, I just needed to be there for them. You're right, Karen. You just have to treasure every single moment. Okay, now a footnote from last Monday when I talked about pumpkin pie and that no bake pumpkin pies. Mary, thank you for that. I hope everything just goes smooth. The plane comes in and they unboard, they do their whatever clean thing they do, and they board up. And so they'll just be later, but that's okay. That is not a problem, that they can just be later getting in. We'll just pick them up whenever they come in. But we were talking about pumpkin pie, and I don't know what my brain was thinking about, because somebody had commented, if it's no bake, there's no eggs in it. And I said, there's no eggs in it. And I thought afterwards, what was I thinking? Of course there's eggs in there still. Because some parts of when you make it is you cook on the stove for a little bit. So, and with the eggs, that's part of it. And tomorrow I'll have the video up on how you make the whole thing. But, Jake, how are you? So nice of him to pop in. Linda says, I love pumpkin pie. Now, I love pumpkin pie. All of my kids love pumpkin pie. Joe loves pumpkin pie. My parents love pumpkin pie. And Mary says that Mary says, I use pumpkin as a substitute. I feed my dogs pumpkin too, because it's good for them. Which, you can make all kinds of stuff, and it's good for them. So, I just wanted to have a pie that I wasn't going to bake in the oven too. And I don't know when I saw this recipe, how long ago it was that I first saw this recipe. And I think the recipe that I got years ago, easily 10 years or 12 years ago, but I made it today. And, this pie, instead of doing a crust, though you could do a crust, I use graham crackers. And so I have it sitting over here. Now, it uses a gelatin, like the powdered gelatin, not like Jell-O, but just the gelatin that if you were making your own Jell-O, or you added in just different things. And that helps the thickening process, which is kind of cool. So, and it's like a custard. And in fact, part of the process when you're cooking it, because not everything is getting cooked, like the pumpkin's not getting cooked. You heat it up to that 175, 180 degrees like you would a custard. And so, it's interesting, but let me show it to you. Okay. There it is. Woo, right there. See, it's real thick. And in fact, after you get it all into the graham cracker crust, you put it in the refrigerator for 3 hours before you can put plastic wrap on it. So it's just about the 3-hour mark. so I can put plastic saran wrap on it. Or you could put just some parchment paper over it or whatever you wanted to use. Exactly, Karen. Unflavored gelatin. And Jake says he's a coconut pie guy. I made coconut pie. I have a video about it. It's so good. Joe has loved it. And Doug says, I'm not sure about this, Sandy. You'll have to let me try it. I would let you try it. If you lived by me, I would make you pumpkin pie both ways. So anyway, after the 3 hours, you put the saran wrap over top of it, and then you let it sit overnight. And it's great pie because I like my pumpkin pie cold anyway. A lot of people like it warm, but I like it cold. So Joe will try it tomorrow when I put that video together because he is always my taste tester. And I think somebody said something about him being a taste tester. It's just zooming by. And Doug says, I'd weigh over 300 pounds if I lived next door to Sandy. That's why Joe makes me give a whole bunch of it away. Like this morning, Doug likes it cold is the only way to eat pumpkin pie. Some people like it warm though. You know, they like it right when it comes out of the oven. I like it cold. But those are just personal preferences. And Jake says that it's probably worth a trip to Arizona. I think it is, Doug. You and Shelly could come. And Karen says, have you ever substituted ginger snap crumbs for the graham cracker crumbs? See, that would be interesting because you can put ginger in this pie just like you can with regular pumpkin. And so that I'll try that because that would be interesting. But Joel makes me give at least half or 3/4 of the stuff to our neighbors all the time. Because, you know, Doug says, that's just weird. Those people are wrong about eating pumpkin pie hot. Sometimes when the pumpkin pie comes out of the oven, I just have to sometimes take a slice. But it's never as good as when it's cold. That's just the way it is. But I think, Karen, I will try that because ginger snaps are good anyway. And so I think that would be fun. But it's seriously a great looking pie. And I like that it's thick and custardy and it's a different texture than pumpkin pie where that you bake. Now, is there more steps? Yes. But I don't mind it at all. It doesn't take that long. And once you've done it a time or two. Now, another thing I have to tell you about when I use graham cracker crusts. Usually when you see a recipe and you have graham cracker crust, it is, you know, you add your graham crackers, your sugar, and your melted butter. Now, a lot of times I add vanilla because I like that. And then you usually bake the crust for a little while at 325. I never bake my crusts. Never, ever. I just don't, you know, if part of the crumbs come out, you know, when you're taking the slice out, I don't care. I never do cook my crusts if it's a graham cracker. Now, if it's a dough, of course I'm baking it. But how many of you guys bake your graham cracker crust before you put your pudding or your custards or your no-bake pumpkin pie? And most recipes that you see, they tell you to bake, you know, sometimes you're baking it 15 minutes. It's not as hot as regular and you have to let it cool. And I don't know, maybe 20, 25 years ago, I thought, why am I baking this graham cracker crust? It didn't make any sense to me to bake it. And so I don't, ever. You know, there's nothing in there that has to be baked. So I don't. Now, Shani says, my recipe has molasses in it. And I also drizzle a little molasses on the whipped cream on top. Now, that's interesting because I like molasses. I might have to try that. How much molasses do you add, into like the pie? And are you reducing so that you don't have any sugars in there? Let me put that in there. And Jake says a crispy crust. It does make a crispy crust, but I would rather it wasn't. So I don't do it, and I figure if somebody's eating my pie and they would rather have a crispy crust, they should have made that pie. So I'm not doing it, so I just don't. Oh, yeah, because the graham crackers are already, Shani, you're right. They've already cooked them. You don't have to cook sugar. The melted butter doesn't make any difference. And so I just don't. Mary says that, eat it either way. Mary says, I've only done pastry crust or no crust. Like if I bake my pumpkin pie, I'm always going to make a pastry crust. And I use a few different recipes depending on what kind of pie it is. It changes a little bit, but I just love them. And Karen says, I only do it about half the time. Can't ever tell the difference. Yeah, see, I just don't see why you have to cook it at all, Karen. But, every cook has their personal stuff. Every cook has a little bit different ideas of what pumpkin pie should be like. Now, Doug says, I like key lime pie. Doug, I love key lime pie. And last winter when we were here, I did a video on, it was an avocado pie. And it tastes like key lime pie. Because Joe doesn't like avocados. My dad doesn't like avocados. And everybody loves that pie because it tastes like key lime pie. And key lime pie is excellent. I'm going to plant a lime tree. And I haven't decided if I want a regular lime or key lime because I could grow either one of them here. Well, look who's here, the Elders Homestead. Hi, Sandy. I am just seeing your live for a few minutes, but I am exhausted. You are working too hard, aren't you, girl? You look beautiful. You are so sweet. So sweet. I know I am an old woman, so that's awesome. She's the sweetest thing. And Doug says, have you ever made cinnamon sugar pie dough roll-up things? Oh my gosh, all the time. My mom did this every time we had pies. She always made extra, and she'd roll them up and she'd bake them. I love them. Cinnamon sugar pie dough is the best. I did it when my kids were growing up, and when I have extra pie dough, I still do it. It's just so tasty. Mary says, do you know of a lighter crust? I miss them. Do you mean lighter as in texture or lighter as in less sugar? Tell me what you mean by that. Oh, look at that. Jake's got 4 limes. Oh, when we got back to Arizona, because my little citruses, they're little, and I didn't really want them to have any fruit this year. But when we got back, there's Ponderosa lemon and the blood orange I think there's 5 in that cluster. I made a hammock so it rests because I don't want to break those branches. So it's crazy. I will have the recipe in there in the description tomorrow. So I will have that for you guys. Karen says, key lime pie is one of my top favorites for sure. I add a tablespoon, I'm assuming, of rum to one last time. It was extra yummy. That is interesting. Just plain rum or a different kind of rum? Let me know in the comments. Because I love key lime pie. It is just so refreshing. It's just so good. Doug says that Mom made them for me when I went there. I had them all ate the first night. I can totally understand that. They are so good. And all of your fruit are in greenhouse. That's interesting. Does the winter get that cold in Texas where you guys are that you couldn't have them out, or you just like it better in the greenhouse? That is interesting. Oh my gosh, look at all these people are in here. Stella, how are you? Hello. I heard of cowboy candy cheesecake last night. That would be with jalapenos, I would assume. Fun. Killer Koodles. Cheers, friends. Thank you for sharing. Much love from far away. Tell us where you're from. I don't think you have been in one of my lives. How fun. I love it when other people pop in that I haven't met yet. Yes, yes, yes. So tell me. Okay, so we have adding molasses into pumpkin pies. We have no bake pumpkin pies. We have regular pumpkin pies. We have pumpkin pies that we eat only cold. And is there anything else unusual that you guys add to your pumpkin pies? And do you always use a pastry dough on your pumpkin pies, or do you use a graham cracker on your pies? Because with this one, the one that's you don't put it in the oven, so it's not a baked pie, I'm using graham crackers, but I wouldn't use my regular one with graham crackers. So that is interesting. Now, Jake, I would like to know. Oh, let me put this up first. Shani says she has 2 tablespoons of molasses and a half a cup of sugar. Good. I am going to write that down because I'm going to try that. And 2 tablespoons molasses, 1/2 cup sugar. Awesome. I will try that because I do love it. Linda says that she always uses a pastry dough. With my baked ones in the oven, always, pastry dough, pumpkin plain with whipped cream. That's how most of my family has it. Though sometimes if we have homemade ice cream, they'll eat pumpkin pie with ice cream, because it's just like so good, How can you go wrong with it? But I think that Jake, because he brought it up, should do a video on cowboy candy cheesecake. I love cheesecake. And that recipe that I did with the berries, that I added the berries on top, I bet that would be a great one to use with the cowboy candy too. And Angie, I'm not sure if she's still in here. She has made jalapeno, the cowboy candy before. And so I could get it from her. I mean, I could make it, but if she has them, Oh, good. Jake says he will do it. Oh, Dad's calling again. Woohoo! Let's see if he's getting on the plane. Hi, Dad. Hello? Hello? Hey.
We should be getting there about 8:40 now.
Awesome. Are you getting on the plane right now? Awesome. Okay. Bye. Love ya. They're getting on the plane right now. Woohoo! That's so exciting. I'll have to tell him that you guys are all saying hi to him and then tell him that he was on my live. He'll shake his head and he'll go, Sandy. He's just so funny. I have to tell you that, you know your parents all your life, right? And like we've lived in Wyoming for, Joe, we lived there 17 years?
Yeah.
17 years. And my parents have been coming down to Yuma for like 25 years. And so in the wintertime, we basically didn't see them, a few trips down, when we'd come for vacation, but we didn't see them, and then we were over in Wyoming. But when you live next door to your parents, now this may be scary for some people, living next to your parents. Angie, you're still in here. Would this be scary for you, living next to me? I don't know. She might think so. But you get to know sides of your parents that you never knew. You know, you get it because you interact with them more. Instead of you driving over, or even when we lived in South Dakota, I'm going up to their house. It is not the same as when you see somebody every single day. Oh, look at this. Angie says, I would love it. She's so sweet. Angie just got 2 new chairs today. And she got a new couch not too long ago. We saw it when we were there. And the chairs are so fabulous. They have bicycles on them. Now, you'd have to know Angie and her husband. And her husband is an avid bike rider. And so in their house, they have decor that has bicycles, part of a bicycle on a wall. They have pictures with bicycles. They have bicycle things coming out. It's really cool. And she found these chairs, and the material on them have bicycles. They are way cute, very modern. And they came today. And so she sent me a picture of them. And I like them a lot. It's very cool. So I am back. And Mary says, I'm drooling like I haven't eaten in days. Because apple pie is just something that is inbred in American, their psyche, that when it becomes the holidays, you better have pumpkin pie at some holiday. If you don't have them at both, which I think you should have them at both, always, because you don't know who's going to stop by your house. You're going to people's houses. You should bring some pumpkin pie because it's the holidays. Now, look at this. Mary, candied bacon is great in anything. Now, Doug is in here. He loves bacon. He is Commander Bacon. So, Doug, have you had candied bacon? You could make bacon jelly. The hard thing about making bacon jelly is that it's not really shelf stable when you make it at home. Now, there's a process that a factory can do, but it is difficult to do it otherwise. And Karen says, if you like a super moist pumpkin cake, I have posted a video yesterday. Well, I'm going to watch that because I love pumpkin cake. I love pumpkin muffins, pie, cookies, bars, basically pumpkin anything I love. I can't tell you anything I've ever tasted that had pumpkin in it that I don't like. Doug says, I had chocolate covered bacon for the first time. And how was that? I bet you loved it. Jake has bacon butter. Hi, Sandra. How are ya? And Sandra says, candied bacon sounds great. If you love bacon, I think it would be fabulous. Now, I know this will break Doug's heart, especially since he is my YouTube brother. But I do not eat pork. I haven't eaten pork in, 20, 25 years. I love what it tastes like. I just personally don't eat it for just reasons. I just don't eat anything pork. But I do love, like, BLTs. That is a great sandwich. But there's beef bacon. If you are in a big city and you, just one second. Angie says, have a great night. Aaron is building a bike wheel and we are watching GOT. GOT. I don't know what that is, Angie. See, if I switch and I go back and forth, it is just like, if you live in a big city and there is a Jewish deli. Angie says Game of Thrones. I haven't ever watched that. And there is turkey bacon. But there is what they call beef bacon, and it tastes just like bacon. Where turkey bacon, it's not like I don't eat it sometimes, but I just don't know. Oh, look at this. Sandy is speaking blasphemy about beef bacon. Beef bacon, Doug, is good. And in fact, back home, I know some ranchers. And so when they got their beef processed, they had them cut that belly part where they don't usually get that. And I made beef bacon before. So I'm in Indiana. Amish made me some hot pepper butter. I bet you that is good. I'll share the recipe if I ever get them to cough it up. It's interesting about recipes because, I tell everybody if they like something, I'll just give them the recipe, But I have known women that make things, they always make it for Christmas or they always make it that. And you ask them for the recipe and it doesn't taste the same. Well, they don't want to give you all their secrets and they won't tell you exactly what the recipe is. I don't understand that. I don't. I just don't know. Doug says, Shelly brought out the cinnamon sriracha jelly the other day. It was amazing. I bet you it was amazing. I love good jelly. And Karen says, if you like a super crispy bacon, you can actually make it from rice paper. Do you have a video on that? You soak strips in a marinade and bake it. Now that is so interesting. Sandra says, I tried already cooked turkey bacon on sliders. It was all right. See, that's what I think about turkey bacon too. It's all right, but it doesn't have the texture. It doesn't have the taste, and it's all right, but it is not great. And so that is weird to me that they can't figure out a better way to make turkey bacon. Our family recipe passed with Granny. Oh, that is too bad. I tell you, grandmas have the best recipe. I remember my one grandmother, both of them did it, but my one grandmother especially, she would do a recipe. She'd make up these cookies or cake or whatever, and I'd say, can I have that recipe? Well, I didn't really have a recipe. And then I find myself doing the same thing. It is like, oh my gosh, I am my grandmother. And like she'd be making a pie, pumpkin pie or whatever it is. And then she would have things that would be just sitting like on the cabinet because she'd made on the counter. She'd just made it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, she's adding stuff that wasn't in the recipe. And then, it just like, oh yeah, I forgot. I put that in there too. You go, this is unusual. What is that taste in there? Oh yeah, I forgot. This was on the counter, so I added that. And now I do it the same thing. And Jake says, even if you got the recipe, it's not always the same. That's true. Because if you, maybe that cook combines some of the recipe together and creams it a different way, and other people just add everything together, and it can make a difference. Mary says, I miss Mom's rice pudding so much. Oh, there's recipes that I miss, and I can't find them. And, because I have both my grandmother's cookbooks, I have their recipe cards, I have a lot of stuff, and there are still some recipes I can't find that they made, like orange pie. It is never the same. And looky here. Karen is saying to hi to Todd Rainey. So Todd Rainey is in here. Oh, there he is. Do you know what? It's Todd Rainey's birthday on Thursday. So everybody should say happy birthday to Todd because it's going to be his birthday. He's one of my members. And I know lots of my members' birthdays. And Doug is one of my members, and he's in here. And Karen is one of my members, and she's in here. So I just always appreciate that. Jake says, instructions don't come with experience. That is totally true. And every stove is different, you know. And just because a recipe says, you know, they tell you that, oh, I cooked it at 375. Well, maybe your stove runs hotter or colder. Your oven does. It makes a difference. Oh, good. Everybody's saying, Todd, happy birthday. We could sing, but then I would be the only one singing, and you just wouldn't want that, Todd. Seriously. I mean, I don't know how Joe stands it most of the time. When we're in the truck and the song is on and I'm singing, and I think to myself sometimes, he's probably going, he's so glad that he can't really hear. It's just, he's going, baby, I don't think that. I'm sure he does. Sometimes he turns the volume up and I think, oh, he's listening to me sing. But I like singing. So Todd says, thanks everybody. Jake says, do it, Sandy, we'll join. We'll all join. You might, but I would be the only one bright red because you were listening to me sing. And Doug says, I have a face for radio. Doug, you are adorable. You could be on TV. Because you are. Because you're on videos. We're all singing. Jake says, we'll all be singing alone across the world. That's true. But you guys, it's 37 minutes. So I'm going to let you go because I have to take this pie that's been sitting for 37 minutes out. And so that we can have it tomorrow with my mom and dad. So, and I have to wrap it because it's been the 3 hours. So Joe, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
And Charmaine says, we would love to hear you sing. No, you wouldn't.
I think you should, baby. You're good.
He is lying. I can sing and I'm okay, but I cannot, like, I would like one of those voices you could just sing in the grocery store and everywhere. You could just sing and people will go, oh yeah, that is nice. If I was in the grocery store singing, they'd be going, what?
Don't say the angels are here.
Yeah, no. Let us be the judge. No. But everybody, have a great night. Enjoy the video tomorrow when I show you how to make a no-bake pumpkin pie. It's yummy. Oh my gosh, first let's say hi to Emma. Emma's, I'm leaving. And look at this. Real life with Michelle and Rob are here. Oh my gosh. But I got to go because we have to do a few things and then we have to go pick up mom and dad from the airport. So everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you give a thumbs up before you leave because that helps me with YouTube. And Emma, totally okay. You know, my lives are, I try to keep at a half hour. So we're going to put the dogs in the kennel. We are going to head out and we will have mom and dad here tomorrow.
Max over here.
So I will try to put them in a video tomorrow because they won't want it tonight. So everybody, thanks so much.
Good boy.
See you next Monday.